get when you fall in love. The guy with the pin to burst your bubble. That's what you get for all your trouble. I never fall in love again.
Well, it's that time of the year again, Valentine's Day, and of course singles are thinking about love, and married people are thinking about love, all sorts of people. So are you single, available, and ready to find a mate, or you already have one, want to rekindle that spark? Well, here are a few tips on finding out if you're emotionally available. Now, co-author of a book called REUA, Are You Emotionally Available? A practical guide for single men and women is Deborah Gray. Now, Deborah joins me. Hi, Deborah.
Hello there.
It's lovely to see you again. Interesting, because you've learnt the hard way about ending up in a good relationship, which you have, haven't you?
Yes, I've been married 3 times, actually engaged 4 times, and found everything out the hard way. So I've got good advice on what mistakes you shouldn't make, because I've done them all.
Perfectly qualified, absolutely.
Yes.
Valentine's Day is the perfect time to mine your knowledge of emotional landscapes. Now, what does it mean to be emotionally available?
Well, first of all, you have to make sure you've got rid of the baggage from the past and you want to embrace a new way forward, that you love yourself, you have self-love, and you know what you have to offer and you know what you're actually looking for, which means probably writing a list of what you have to offer and what you're really looking for.
Interesting, because often people try to get the mate that they're not really suited to. I mean, they seem to end up with the wrong guy or the wrong gal.
That's right.
For all sorts of reasons.
And often it's because they just haven't spent enough time on their own. They may lack self-confidence and they don't think they're worthy, and they're perhaps bringing baggage from a previous relationship into the new one.
So you're talking about self-love.
Self-love's very important. And, you know, you've got to think about, would you date you? It's a good question, isn't it? So you've got to spend some time on your own to find out what you like about yourself and say, hey, I'm pretty good. I deserve the best for me.
Right.
And that doesn't mean the best looking guy like Tom Cruise or Angelina Jolie. You know, for guys, you know, look for someone with really good qualities that's going to make you happy.
People have unreal expectations of relationships, don't they, often? And they tend to go for the wrong person. They don't realise they're going for the wrong person.
They don't. And if you keep finding that you're attracted to the same person that's not treating you well and your relationships aren't working out, then you need to take time to work out where you're going wrong. You can't keep blaming other people. You need to find out what you're doing wrong and what the qualities are that you're seeing in that person that aren't working for you. Because unfortunately, you need to look at the qualities that are more than superficial. Is someone kind? Are they thoughtful? Are they punctual? Do they listen to what you have to say? Do they care about you?
These things are so fundamentally important. Often people just become, I suppose, superficial, and they go for the strong guy or, you know, the powerful guy, and they don't, you know, they think that's all there is to dating.
It's a real shame, isn't it? And I think it's a flaw with today's society. We everything's so perfect, but, you know, scratch the surface and it's not. And when you've spent time with a person after a while, it's not actually the outside that you fall in love with. It's what's inside that you really notice and come to cherish.
Okay, well, let's say we're going to go out on a date. The other thing is to
Thank
find...
you, Gary. I'd love to.
Well, it's not the first time. Let's tell the audience. First of all, you've got to find a date.
Well, you know, you've got to get out there, don't you?
Yeah.
You've got to get out there. You've got to open yourself up to the possibilities of where to find someone. Tell your friends that you'd like to meet someone.
That's important, isn't it?
Yeah, just be confident enough to say, I'm going to get out of the rut I'm in. I'm going to go bowling. I'm going to take up a new hobby. I'm just going to step out of the square I'm in and meet some new people and flirt.
Yeah, people get very settled, and flirting is a very important thing, which you're expert at doing, Deborah. I know I've seen you over the years.
Oh, thank you.
What is it? What's a good flirt? Well, I mean, you know.
Well, you've got to be very careful when you're new at flirting, and often when we're older, we forget to flirt. Not that I'm older, and neither are you, Gary.
No.
But if you are older, you might forget how to flirt, and that is just playful, interested, a joke, a little bit of eye contact, not staring someone down.
Well, you can be leery and stalking somebody, but
just
there is a
show
subtlety.
some interest. Be happy.
Yep.
I mean, a sense of humour is delicious, isn't it?
Yep.
And engage in conversation. Think of your butcher. I always say to people that are nervous and insecure, think about when you walk into the butcher and he says, "How are you today?" and he smiles and it talks about the weather.
That's right. The butchers are it's a great idea to check out your butcher because often they're quite attractive. And they're always very friendly and courteous and happy.
And everyone,
interesting to talk to.
I think very importantly too, men and women share the same emotions. We both want love. I should say we all want to love. We want to connect. We want to find, partners. We want to share good times. We want the same thing. So don't be fearful of rejection. If someone rejects you and they barely know you, well, they don't know you. So you can't take it to heart.
Some people can be oversensitive, I know.
Yes.
I'm one of them, actually. So, the Burt Bacharach song, I'll Never Fall in Love Again, doesn't come into the scene. I mean, self-confidence. And this is, we're talking about people who are in their 40s, 50s and sexy 60s,
Sexy 60s. Well, dating is a numbers game. You can't just expect the first person you date or the first person that shows interest in you that the relationship's going to be long lasting. You've just got to keep going till you find the person that you really enjoy, whose company you like and who is worthy of you. So you've really got to date and let go of fear and also let go of that last bad relationship. And I've got a couple of really good little tips for mature daters because I know they're always especially concerned about the dating arena.
Yes. Mature dating.
Mature dating, yes.
You give different advice for older people, I suppose.
Well, I think just sometimes you need to, as we said before, if you're in a rut, well, just shake up your life and embrace new interests. That's good for young people too. But more importantly for mature people, because not everyone older is looking for a relationship. If you're over 25, it's harder and harder to find the people, and you are in a smaller group and a lot of your friends are married. So you really have to get out of that rut. And if you're feeling desperate, honestly, that will guide your romantic choices and you will have a date with disaster. So you've got to let go of that desperation and really feel the self-love and say, I'm fabulous at any age. I'm absolutely gorgeous, and anyone that meets me is very lucky.
Yeah, and make yourself look good. I mean, that's important too.
You've got to dress for success. And Gary, when I say dress for success, girls, not the lycra miniskirt when you're 55 and the cleavage, and guys, don't try and dress too young. If you dress flatteringly and dress in a style that suits you, that's the best way to go. But trying to turn back time is always going to end in tears.
Big mistake.
Really. And you've got to remember you need a partner who's a companion and a lover who you respect and who won't cheat on you. So it's great if you meet someone younger, but don't actively go looking for a trophy because it could end in tears for you. And, by the way, develop platonic friendships with the opposite sex. Practice with the opposite sex. They're not the enemy.
That's right. Often people marry later in life, and they've often married people that were friends with for some time.
And what a great base for a relationship, moving forward, because you've got that history. I mean, sometimes you wonder, in the old days, those arranged marriages, they probably had something in mind with a shared background. But Gary, here's another really important tip, not to treat a date like a therapy session. Right. I mean, it's really important that you don't, first of all, vent on your date, the first date that you have with him, and tell him all your problems and all the men that have done you wrong in the past, but also don't ask too many personal questions. I mean, there's one thing to show interest, but don't interrogate people because that's very unnerving as well. And the most important thing when you're older and you do have a date that doesn't work out, just don't spend time mourning over the loss of that person because you've just got to keep moving forward because, you're a great person and you don't have to worry about rejection.
Well, you've ended up with the right man. Paul's a terrific guy, and
thank you.
Because I've known you for a long time, and you went for powerful guys. You had some very interesting marriages.
I tried it all, darling. I did it my way. I did the toy boy, the wealthy man. I did the strong, silent, and then the abusive. And I was a single mum, and it was really tough. And I had to just spend some time figuring out what I was doing wrong. And I was doing everything wrong. And there are some simple tips really to find happiness, but they all come from within you.
Well, Dating Diva Deborah Gray, it's a pleasure to talk to you again on the air. And get out there and join the romance on V-Day, Valentine's Day. Deborah Gray, thanks very much for joining me.
And happy Valentine's Day, Gary.
To you too.
Thank you.